I got a confession to make. Deshaun Watson has some striking and shocking allegations about the media and making up stories and not really knowing what's going on between the lines anytime something happens on the field. As a media member, I have to confess, he's right. I'll tell you why coming up next on this episode of The Ultimate Browns. Welcome to the fastest 30 minutes in all of sports. It's The Ultimate Browns, your boy G. Bush here. I want to wish everybody, if you didn't get to it before, I hope everybody had a happy Father's Day, a happy Father's Day weekend to all those that are out there, fathers, and shout out to a special, shout out to my father who has made me who I am today. He was my first coach. He did so much for me, just and for a person from the African American community. I had such a great advantage and a great, opportunity to have a father that's been in my life, and my mother and father to be married all these years. And I just want to salute him for all the things that he's done. And I want to salute all the great fathers out there that are in their children's lives. And I want to send a happily Heavenly Father's Day to all of those fathers that have gone before and have passed away. But your legacy and what you've meant to your sons, your daughters, your family will never, never be forgotten. And those stories and wisdom and lessons that you pass down to your children will live on through generations. So I want to just make sure I'm saluting and celebrating all the fathers out there. Hope you had a good Father's Day weekend. Let's get right to this, man. This is one of those shows, man. This is one of those shows that G. Bush be telling the truth. And this is one of those things, and this is a barbershop field. I know this is the Ultimate Brown, but those who know about the barbershop understand that I got to get to it. I understand that sometimes this guy be telling the truth, and sometimes it's a little difficult to deal with, but I'm going to get into that, man. We got a jam-packed show. This is a show you need to share, a show you need to like, because this content, you're not going to hear it first person like this. I ain't gonna tell the truth like this. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all, and I think you will really enjoy this story. Let's talk about this. Why the Browns chose Winston over Flacco. Deshaun Watson had to talk about what Jameis Winston brought to the table, what Jameis Winston is able to do, and why Jameis Winston is such a valuable part of the quarterback room. He talked about him in his podcast. We're going to listen to a lot of the stuff Deshaun Watson said, so make sure you guys check out the QB Unplugged podcast with him and Quincy Avery. They was dropping some gems, and we're going to do a heavy react to that. So thank you for those guys. And a lot of our film today is going to be courtesy of them. So thank you, and make sure you guys go out and subscribe to that, and make sure you check out that podcast. Also, in the same interview, Deshaun Watson talked about expectations. And it's the first time that I've heard Deshaun Watson articulate this in the way that he does. He actually finally gets real about the expectations coming up this year. And I thought there were some really good key takeaways from that and some insights that I'll share with you coming up in the second segment. But first, we all know why we came here. And it is because of this. This is the reason you clicked on this video. Are we all just making it up? This is a very loaded question. And this is a question I've been passionate about for a long period of time. I am at its core a football purist. And what does that mean to me? To me, at my core, I am a person who enjoys the game of football. At my core, I'm able to watch football games and enjoy the game of football no matter what team is playing. I can enjoy the minutia and the nuance between, offense and defense and running the ball and tackling and blocking. I love just the X's and O's and everything. Sometimes, and I'm, we're blessed to have a guy like Tyvis that's on, and make sure you check out Tyvis and all this stuff he's doing. We just blessed to have a guy like that to be able to, articulate some of the things that are going on that played in the NFL. I'm blessed to be able to text a Joe Thomas or text a Bernie Kosar and get their ideas on certain concepts that I see or certain things that I'm watching on the game and get some further insight on. So to me, I just love the game of football as a strategy, as a sport. I love what it does to build young men. And that's why I call myself a football purist, right? But you do have to also understand that when you get into the media, and the media football game is different from the regular football game. The way people announce and go about covering the game is completely different from the way you learned and the way you enjoy it as a pure football fan or a football person who played the game and has been in the game for over 25, 30 years, right? And so in this clip, we're going to get to it first. I'm going to slowly burn up to this, get this thing smoldering. Deshaun Watson talks a little bit about his feelings on social media, right? And I enjoy this type of commentary because Deshaun gets to, show who he is, and he gets to show his opinion and have his opinion. And one of the things that we've learned so much is that we've gotten so cocky and arrogant with it that we believe that the only people that are allowed to tell their true feelings and tell their story or tell how they feel are fans and people in the media. I don't understand how we got to a point where an athlete can't say how he feels or he can't react to certain things. We think these guys are robots. Deshaun Watson has, Quincy Avery asked him about, how does he feel about, do you see some of the noise? What do you think about it? And his thoughts on it. And we'll continue down this road of, do we really understand what's going on? Or are we just kind of going on our own headcanon in terms of certain things? Let's get to it.
I mean, I see it because, it pops up the way the news feed is, it pops up, so you see it and you don't try to read it, but your name pop up, so you want to see what's going on. But people gonna have their own opinions, but I'm to the point where it's just like it ain't even about football to most people no more. You know what I'm saying? It's their personal opinions that don't even know me. So it's just like the football part, like the people that see me every day, the people that play against me, compete against me, they know what's up. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna compete hard. I'm a football player. I'm a give everything I got. I still got a lot of talent, a lot of left in it, and it's just like it ain't no sugarcoat behind that. You feel me? And I feel like again, like if I wasn't good, if I wasn't capable of doing these things, then I wouldn't be talked about. You know what I'm saying? So like, what's the reason why you continue to? You feel me? And
That is,
you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
nah, that is a fact.
That clip is, courtesy of the QB Unplugged. And what he's talking about there is, he kind of alluded to this. We was on Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We kind of talked about it. A lot of these poll questions and a lot of these, stuff in the offseason is based on rankings and, understanding and kind of, looking in the crystal ball and forecasting where the Browns will end up, where they have them ranked in the NFL, all those good things. Those are all make-believe things that we make up, right? Those questions of who's the top quarterback in head coach tandem, whose offense is the most explosive, who do you think is going to take the next best jump? Like those things are things that, when you get into the media, those are made up conversations that you have so that you can keep the interest of fans as things go along during the season. A lot of this stuff isn't even really based in anything. It's just based in conjecture, based in your personality, and based on somebody's basically opinion. And so one of the things that we talk about there, and he kind of gets into it at the end. A lot of times what people are saying is not based in fact. And this doesn't need to necessarily go to Deshaun Watson. This could be anyway. A lot of what we do, and this is kind of a thing that I'm just letting you guys in on, is a lot of it is based on how can we generate some interest. People, if you want to, call it clickbaity, there are some people that do that, but most of it is the media's job is to create angles, to create narrative, to create conversation amongst the fans and to generate content, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like any industry that's very that's lucrative does the same thing. Hollywood is the same way. TV is the same way. There's a reason we have tabloids, and there's a reason that people are celebrities, right? We are infatuated with celebrities, right? And our culture is driven by those guys, right? I mean, our president is the biggest celebrity superstar that there's ever had, a former president. He's running again, Donald Trump. And listen, he started as a media guy. So that just goes to show you how enthralled we are with we like call to personalities. We like people with big bombastic voices. Heck, I'm a person that has a big voice. Not that I'm everywhere or something. It's just the fact that I'm opinionated, and that's what resonates with people on either side. So, but he does say something there, right? And I've always thought this to be weird. And in the comment section, I go to the comments. People say never leave the comment section, right? But I do it because I want to get to the pulse and I want to understand how people think. And so as Deshaun Watson is talking about people, writing these stories and doing certain things about it, I always found it strange that people feel like they can give their opinion on certain things, but you can't either. So this is a comment that I took and kind of took a screenshot of it for below that I kind of want to go over and look at really quickly, and just show you that the crazy part of the game and how we look at certain things today. So this is a comment. He put this out underneath the video, and he says, whoever this guy is, anonymous, of course. I see a lot of Deshaun Watson commenting like this, and it's bad for him. I always question how you know what's bad or good for somebody. We kind of project on everybody in the world, and this is a comment talking about him not commenting. I see a lot of Deshaun Watson commenting like this, and it's bad for him. He has not gotten to the point where he knows and expects the media game. He needs to rise above it to expect just dramatic headlines or ridiculous takes. Media changes their take week to week because they're just a cog in the wheel of the entertainment industry. Watch how Kevin rises above the media. Reacting is the first sign that the media is in your head. My suggestion is to expect it, not to react to it. Play well and care about the legacy, not jerk journalists. When you retire, the only thing you'll think about is your stats, team playoff championships performance, and your teammates, not thousands of archive posts to social media that weren't meant to be consumed with 1 or 2 day period. Deshaun Watson, please consider this. We know how much of this game is mental. So with that take, right, there's some nuggets in there that I think are coming from a place of solid thought process. I don't think you can be a person that's obsessed with social media and be on there all the time, and every time somebody says something, you're subtweeting somebody, or you got burner accounts everywhere, and you spend half of your waking time talking about trying to rebuttal what some idiot on Twitter says. But I do think that one of the things that we need to talk about is the fact that when you are a quarterback and you are a media member and you are a person or an individual that is a public figure, we got to realize that these guys are people too. When your name pops up, it's human nature to look and see what it is that people are talking about. Sometimes I think we don't look at psychology and sociology and understand that us as humans, we are programmed to seek the validations of others. We are programmed to want to be around each other. We are social creatures, right? That's why one of the worst things you can ever have done to you is be put in solitary confinement. We are built to be in packs. We are built to be in rooms in different places where we want people to think well of us. It's just chemistry. It's human nature. So when somebody does say something bad about you, obviously he's not going to go on social media and start typing back to somebody he doesn't know. But to think that you're not a human and you can't express that that type of stuff you do see is ridiculous, right? I mean, he's a human just like everybody else is, right? It's about how you handle that. And I think sometimes a lot of people got all these great questions and great things to say about how you go about handling yourself when they've never been in that position. And that's what the heart of this conversation goes to is, yes, just because we are fans and we really want these people to play well and the media covers this team does not know we are now gotten to the point where everybody thinks that because you say it loud enough and angry enough and you're the loudest person in the room and you rebuttal and you filibuster, that means you're smart. That doesn't mean you're smart or intelligent. That means you're just a guy that yells over people. At the end of the day, it's about your actual knowledge of what's going on. And Deshaun Watson goes about this and questions, do we really know what's going on? And I had to sit back and tell myself, oh my goodness, he's right. And it's a confession from a media member.
But what I was thinking about is I watch Twitter all the time, not just you, but all different quarterbacks. And I see how people
Yeah.
talk about things that I feel like they don't know a lot about. Like they'll talk about, like I saw a tweet the other day said, Brock Purdy didn't miss one throw in warm-ups today. I'm like, bro, it's
You know, it's crazy. I
warm-ups.
seen you quote that tweet.
Like,
I
that
seen you
is
quote
just-
that tweet, and like it's probably like it's
It's
come on,
stupid.
bro.
Or somebody see like Bryce Young take a drop, be like, wow, you could just see the changes. I'm like, what changes do you for a living? Literally, my life.
How
I
do
get
you
paid.
know? How do you know what they changing? Like, how do you? Are you sitting in those meetings? Are you sitting like in any of that stuff? No, you don't know, bro. You don't know the timing. You don't know what they're coaching.
That's the thing. People will say they don't know if it's a bad throw or miscommunication on a route, right? So every time I see a throw, complete or not complete, I have no idea. Like, did the quarterback throw a good ball? Did the receiver run the wrong route? Right? Because you're working on things in OTAs. I don't know who was right, who was wrong. I watch people in drills. I don't know what they're drilling or what they're trying to work on, so I can't say, was that a good rep? Was that a bad rep? When I see a quarterback throw, if I've never spent like real time with that quarterback, know what their limitations are, know what they're physically capable or incapable of doing, there's no way I can say like, are they at their peak? Are they not at their peak? Because everybody does things differently. The way CJ throws a ball is not the same way that you throw a football, right? Because your bodies move differently. You know what I'm saying? So I see all these different, and I just hate seeing people talk about what somebody's doing in OTAs or practice, because the only thing that really matters is the game.
See, now they cooking. Now they are cooking, and G Bush. You know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. This is gonna be a longer video. So guess what? You're gonna get some free extra stuff from me because I think this needs to have some time put on it. They are cooking now, and they are telling you the deep dark secrets of what everybody in the media, including myself, participates in. Because it is the OTAs, because it is the offseason, because we don't have anything to talk about and the games aren't happening. The NFL has created a 24-hour, 7 days a week cycle. The content is overflowing. The algorithms on YouTube tell you that. If you don't have a video every single day, they're not going to suggest your videos to anybody. You got to have consistent content, because if you don't put the content up, they're going to start sending it to other people. Go watch that podcast. If you do Browns content, if you ain't putting a video up every day, you're crazy. So ask yourself a question. How is it that you put a video up every day on something that is not happening? Nothing's happening. No games have taken place. No touchdowns are scored. There's been nothing happening. It's imaginary. It's topics that you conjure in order to engage with your audience who's enthusiastic about the game or about a team. And the problem is, we have gotten to the point where the media forgets that we understand what it is. It's entertainment. We've gotten to the point, we've done it so much and so well that people are now believing their own make-believe conjured stuff. People believe this stuff now because you do it so much. There's only 17 games. And because the cycle continues to roll and on and on and on and on, you come up with these thought processes. When you sit there, and I love the fact that he talks about it specifically. When you go to a practice, unless you are in the meeting room where people are installing, coaching, and teaching, you have no clue what they are working on or not working on. They could come out there and say, we working on 3-step drops all game. We're not running no 5 or 7-step drops. So you get to the field and say, well, wow, maybe Deshaun Watson can't throw the ball over 5 or 6 yards because it was a bunch of short throws at practice. No, maybe they were just working on the short passing game. Do you know that? No, because you're not in the meeting. When you talk about practice things and guys working on something, sometimes they may go into it and say, listen, we want to throw 7-step drops, and we want to work on this post pattern against cover 3, cover 2, and see what works. Or we might want to come out and we think we're going to get this defense, right? We're going to find out every play that is bad against this defense. And what's the optimum position if we do see this coverage? Can we throw it here or can we not? You don't know that. You don't have the script. You don't have the plays. You don't have anything in front of you. You don't even know really specifically what the coaching and coaching points are unless you're in the room. And then you don't know what the call was. And I always say this on every single route, especially when you're running choice routes, for you to complete a pass, 5 to 6, 7 things need to happen in concert. That just doesn't boil down to whether the quarterback does his thing or not. The quarterback has to drop back. He has to read the defense in coverage. He must first understand what coverage they're throwing and then anticipate what the receiver will run. If the receiver does not run or see the same coverage, he's going to change his route. And if he changes his route, the quarterback will throw to a place or throw to where he's supposed to be, because that's what you need to do in the league and anticipate. And the ball will be either incomplete or it would look crazy. Now, if you don't know whose fault it was, did the quarterback read the right coverage or did the receiver read the right coverage? You don't know that unless you know what the coverage was, what the call was, and what the specific target was. So when people say he looked great in practice, it was his fault that he threw these interceptions, he's inaccurate. Was he inaccurate or did the receiver run the wrong route? Can you tell me what route they were supposed to run? Because everybody has different option routes. There's 3 to 4 different things you can do based on that. Not only do you need to do that, you need to be able to diagnose the blitzes when they're coming from. Sometimes the quarterback gets, and then you have to line that up with what your center is seeing. And then the running back has to understand, right? So the running back has to check the edge and see if a defender is coming. The center has to call out the offensive line plays to see who's coming on blitzes. And the quarterback has to acknowledge that. Sometimes you can't block all of them. You got to throw hot. Sometimes the quarterback looks up and they blitz bluff and, oh, guess what? No one's coming. We thought everybody was blitzing. This is why the game of football is so meticulous. And when you boil it down to just 1 or 2 things and have it be whether the quarterback is good or bad, that just shows you that we're not into what happens. We're into making it happen. And that comes with writing, doing things we do. And as a media member, nobody will tell you that. We do that. Nothing that we talk about, but continue to watch UCSS. Nothing that we talk about is anything of consequence on that field.
These guys are working on things to get better for the game. It isn't. You could go out there and throw 10 interceptions in practice one day and get better because you're like, okay, I can't do that now. All right, next time.
You're trying. That's the whole point of practice, is to be able to. I'm practicing in this throw. Can I make this throw in this situation versus this defender versus this coverage? And it's like, yeah, like you can sit here and be like, oh, everyone is doing good. No, like that's the whole point, is to be able to try out different things. Okay, can we do this? Can we not do this? Can this player do this? Can this player not do this? We're working on things. It's not so much of like, we need to have everything mastered right now, Like, you throw the whole playbook in the spring and see what guys can handle. All right, can we handle this? What are we good at? What can guys process most? Is it this type of offense? Is it this type of offense? Is it this run game? Is it this pass game? Like, what are the defenses? What are we good at going against? All right, the defense is showing a lot of cover 2 today. Are we good versus zone coverage, cover 2, making those decisions? Like, are we very good versus man coverage? All right, defense is playing a lot of man coverage today because this is what Stefanski wants. And Dorsey, you gotta bring your man beaters. So it's like, yeah, all that, man. Most of the media people don't know, man.
It's so much to it, and people got no idea.
That'd be, yeah, for sure.
And they'd be the first ones to talk. I'd be like, shut up. But that's why I get so mad looking at Twitter.
I like that. I like he tells people to shut up. I like that too. I get angry and mad at Twitter too. Because there's a thing, go back and check out Joe Rogan, right? Terrence Howard, the actor, broke the internet because he was talking about his new equations and rethinking math and all these different things, right? And he called Neil deGrasse Tyson out, who was one of the former, he's just a genius. I don't know what he's, a cosmologist, physicist, or whatever he is, but everybody knows him, right? And basically, Neil deGrasse Tyson comes back on and says, Terrence Howard was upset at him because he told him to look at one of his papers in a paper that was like 36 pages or something, based on like his new thought processes about physics and math and stuff. And, you know, as a peer, he gave him a peer review. So Neil deGrasse Tyson, one of the most brilliant people in the world, gives him a peer review, basically questioning and showing through data and facts that, you know, some of his thought processes were either completely wrong, have already been debunked or proven to be inaccurate, or sometimes you need a little more thought and a little more conjecture with it to explain what you're talking about, right? And he said, I thought I was doing him a favor, because that's what you do as a colleague. You issue your work to other people, and other people who have dedicated their lives to something will tell you whether you're factually wrong or you're incorrect, or if you're on the right track and you're genius. But not in this game, right? So, but not in the media. No, like you don't need any of that. Like, you just need to say it louder, or talk faster, or, you know, call names, or do things like that. Instead of devoting your time to watching film, or devoting your time to looking around and understanding the game, or trying to call people and figure out, am I factual in this, or how do teams go about practicing? How do teams go about scouting? How do teams go about identifying the areas or putting a game plan together? Instead of doing that, they just go right to the next step. And the next final step is, let me make an assessment based upon my own thought processes that I haven't really done or have anything about. It's like, I can't go. I've seen, you know, rockets take off from Cape Canaveral in Florida, but I'm not a rocket scientist, bro. I can't go into a NASA meeting and be like, I've seen this a couple of times. You know, I've seen some ships go in space. I've been watching Science Channel. Let me tell you, these guys they're not taking what I'm saying seriously. They're like, dude, where's your degree from? Did you have any internships? Did you write any scientific journals? What is your thesis paper for your doctorate? Oh, I don't have any of those. Well, what did you do? I just saw some. I watched the Science Channel. I know who Neil deGrasse Tyson is, and I know who Stephen Hawking is. I should be able to come tell you. It don't work that way. And so, as a media member, one thing that I want to give you guys in context, I'm gonna let you guys know and just come on in real quick. Ain't nobody gonna tell you this, because the more you say, you know, I guess the more, you know, opportunities you feel like you'll get, or the more, you know, clicks, or the more subscribers, or whatever the case may be. Every single day, there's new stuff that comes out with football. For me, I think one of the most intimidating things is when you play football 20 years ago, you're a dinosaur. You're out of here. You know what I'm saying? There's new concepts, there's new passing strategies, new blocking. The way they go about blocking and tackling and doing all things is changing every 3 to 4 years. So one of the things that you always got to keep in context with is the game that you knew when I was playing back in the early 2000s at a college level don't exist no more. It's a new game. The concepts are still the same, but there's also some new strategy and stuff that you always got to keep up on. And for me, I let you guys know that, guess what? I don't know everything. And the best thing in the world, and Neil deGrasse Tyson said this as well. If you think, if you're the smartest person in the room, go find another room to be in. Because there's always, I want to be the dumbest person in the smartest room. I want to be able to be educated and understand that, like, some stuff I'm saying is wrong. And when you're watching television and you're watching the game and we're breaking it down on any platform, always remember this: it's entertainment. That's what it is now. If you tried to be in this game and you weren't entertaining and you just knew all football, that don't work. If you are simply entertaining and don't know anything, that doesn't work. If you are, you can't technically, speak in a way where people can understand you, or that flows correctly, or you don't have the tone and vocal presence and all that other stuff, it don't work. You have to have it all. I'm just letting you guys know that when we do go through certain things, and then when some people do tell you certain things, always remember, there's always enough knowledge out there just to be dangerous. And what that basically means is, yes, you can obtain enough knowledge that you can sound competent in, but you haven't studied long enough to realize that you're just at the tip of the iceberg, and there's so much more than meets the eye, and this ain't Transformers. I know that was a long segment, but we come back. That was a long segment. We're going to come back. We'll talk about Deshaun Watson. He also talked about his expectations, and he finally got real about what everybody else has been saying about him and these expectations. We'll come back and talk about it. It is G. Bush right here on the Ultimate Browns. Well, it is playoff times in the NBA. Actually, it's NBA Finals time. Dallas Mavericks, Celtics, man. NHL, it's the Stanley Cup, right? We're ready to go. Baseball is in full swing. We almost talking about the All-Star break coming up, voting for the Guardians and different things like that. So FanDuel is your place that you still get an opportunity to bet on every single game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's 150 bonus bucks, win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes in all of sports. And that ain't even 30 minutes. You're getting bonus time today. We out here rocking and rolling. Deshaun Watson has some really good stuff to say on his QB Unplugged podcast. We're taking some snippets from that and really opining on that. So you get some bonus time. Happy Father's Day out there to you guys if you ain't watching. So definitely check that out. Deshaun Watson, he talked about the expectations, right? And he finally got real. You know, usually people give you that coach talk, that coach speak. Well, what I'm trying to do is just get, be with my teammates and really just work on establishing the huddle and guys getting together. We're going to take it one day at a time. Stop all of that capping. We want to talk about what is the expectation level, where you at right now, and how confident is you that we're going to get this thing done. I think this is the most real answer he's given since he's been here in terms of what the expectation levels are.
I think that I watched you play a season in the NFL better than almost any quarterback ever is at a season. That 2020 season, 4,800 yards passing, 33 touchdowns. You ran the ball. Like, I know what the expectation is. And maybe the stats might differ a little bit because you playing outside more. You might not be able to throw consistently for that many yards. But
even that be screwed though. Screwed. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, people are like, oh, winning is not a QB stat. Who? To who?
That's what matters.
Yeah, whoever win that Super Bowl gonna be like, I'm a world champion.
So yeah, you saying the stats was skewed. What do you mean by that? I'm trying to what you mean?
No, I'm just saying like yeah, people look at I think it was like the QBR and things like that, but like let's break down the film on certain things, like the opportunities of me playing a full season. That stuff can change. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like if you winning in this league, it's hard to win. I don't care who you are. You have to win in the division and in the league that I'm playing in. Like if you're winning, it's hard to replace you. It is what it is. What are you gonna say? Trent Dilfer, he's not a world champion. He got that ring. He can put that ring right on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. At the end of the day, that's the whole ultimate job is to be a world champion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a team player, so it is what it is.
The first time I really heard him express that with his chest. The first time I really heard him express that at that level with some urgency, with some realness to him. See, this is why I like it. You know what? I'll be telling them, look, and once again, I shouldn't even be saying half the stuff I say, but I just be real about it. Like, look, man, if you need a safe space to go, and talk to Quincy about, what you want to really do, and you need a safe space that you understand that people are not going to twist your words or nitpick with it, do that, because I'm all for that. Like, the answer you gave is more than I've heard you say since you've been here. Give that type of answer, because I can respect that. If you can't respect that, your whole perspective is whack. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he talks about, him putting up those numbers in 2020 and saying, but yeah, like, people look at the QBR rating, right? People look at the fact that I was 4-12 with those guys, right? And it's like, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? He went 5-1 with the Browns. They're like, it's the worst deal in all of world, all of mankind. But when he did put up crazy numbers in Houston, the team was terrible. So which is it? And I think he gets down to the nitty gritty and says, listen, y'all say what y'all want to. Listen, he uses Trent Dilfer as an example. You say whatever you want. I'm a world champion. I win that Super Bowl. I win them AFC championship games. I go out there and I win them games. You can't say nothing to me. Because at the end of the day, winning is the only thing that shuts people's mouths up, right? They can nitpick and say what they want, but even after a while, that has to go away. Even after a while, like people talk about, Kyrie Irving and Kyrie Irving really turned his image around. No, he didn't really turn nothing around. He's still the same Kyrie Irving. You know what changed? He started winning them games. He started going out there doing his thing, and they start beating teams on the court. Not no off the court nothing. Not no Durant and Harden Brooklyn stuff. Not no Boston Celtics stuff. He going out there getting it done. And when you going out there getting it done, Deshaun says, hey, it's hard to replace you. You're damn right. You're damn right. They can't move. You can't move. You can't move the goalposts on W's, bro. You can't move the goalposts on W's, right? And if you plan the whole season, which I think this is a big part of it, if you plan the whole season, the numbers will come. It just is what it is. That's just a function of you playing every single game, and you being a starting quarterback. There's a lot of starting quarterbacks that look like they got decent numbers, don't even be that crazy. But when you talk about them W's, and then the main thesis was, when you in this division, when you in this league, it's all about that. That's it. It's all about that. Like we talked about last segment. People talk about, he should do this. Listen, if Deshaun Watson, don't tell me about that. Joe Namath was the brashest dude I've ever seen in my life. There's been lots of outspoken guys that have been great champions. Brett Favre, outspoken. Joe Namath, outspoken. There's been lots of quarterbacks who are outspoken that have done tremendous things in this league. People say you shouldn't play with a chip on your shoulder because that means that I know Steve Young played with a chip on his shoulder because he was trying to get the monkey off his back. He was trying to get the proverbial legacy of having Joe Montana and 4 Super Bowls on his resume, and him saying, "Yo, is you ever going to be better than Joe in San Francisco?" Steve Young said he put all his game checks in the drawer and never cashed them, because he thought he didn't earn them, because he wasn't a starter and he wasn't playing up to his capabilities that he has. So for when people talk about these things and they talk about their expectation levels, this shows that Deshaun Watson has the expectation levels that are as high as anybody for himself. And you hear people always talk about, well, is he really working hard? I don't see him doing this, and I mean, is he really putting it all together? Again. Not that you take too much, with that, not that, like, I take that with a grain of salt, but, to me, I love the fact that now he's in a space, and if he needed, hey, don't come talk to me. He ain't never, like, people always talk about it all the time. He don't never, G. Bush, you get a Deshaun Watson interview. He don't never in his life had to talk to me ever on no interview, right? If you want to do an interview like that with your boy, and you want to do an interview where you feel like you got a safe space and you could talk your talk, do it. I'd rather you talk your talk than come have these canned interviews with these dudes that is going to be trying to nitpick and find something. Because you're not going to get nothing out of those interviews. He's going to give you the same old answers, because that's the only answers he can give you. Because if he give you anything spicy, anything with personality, anything, they're going to take that, they're going to flip it, remix it, run it back, drop a blom on it like Flex, all the above, letter D. I would love for you to stay right where you at and keep talking your talk. Do some film reviews, talk your talk. Because guess what? The people that's coming to watch you over there is coming to watch you for you, not to get clicks wherever they at. Just keeping it a buck. Speaking of keeping a buck, I'm gonna come back. Deshaun Watson talked about Jameis Winston and how much of a great personality and an added bonus he is to the QB room. I'm gonna take it a step further. I'm gonna tell you why Jameis Winston. He's the Cleveland Browns backup quarterback over Joe Flacco, and I love Flaccavelli. You'll be surprised. It's G. Bush right here on the Ultimate Browns. Let's get into other content every single Monday. Ultimate Guardians, Adam the Bull, Zach Mize over there. They do a good job of covering the Guardians. First place Guardians, put some respect on that. Hey, it's an off season, and for the Cleveland Cavaliers, one of the most pivotal off seasons. You're gonna need Jason Lloyd and Mikey McNuggets to lead you through that. Every single Tuesday, they'll be over there on your Ultimate Cavaliers, and make sure you check that out. Earl the Pearl just had a really great WNBA spotlight with an assistant coach in the WNBA, Cleveland native. So check that out, man. Interview is up, and make sure you check that out every Thursday. Earl the Pearl Ultimate 216, and then of course your boy G. Bush. We got to do it so big, biggest in the game. Got to do it twice. Mondays and Fridays, right here on the UCSS network. Make sure you check us out. Make sure we subscribe so you know when all of our content is touching down. Fastest 30. I would say fastest, usually fastest 30, but this like 45 minutes. I'm giving you that extra work today. It's a holiday. Juneteenth is coming up. I'm giving you that work. Shout out to Juneteenth. That's coming up on Wednesday. And let me just show y'all this love too. Shout out to Tegna, and I respect y'all as a company. Y'all one of the first companies that made Juneteenth a national holiday, and we get the day off. And it's a lot of companies out here that ain't doing the same. And I'm not going to bash y'all. I just encourage y'all to do what's right. Juneteenth should be a national holiday. It should be something that is remembered, something that is out there for all companies to take advantage of, to show their respect for African Americans and Black history. Make sure, you know what I'm saying, y'all salute your people. If you are off, salute any company that has Juneteenth for their employees and they get a paid day off for that. I salute Tegna for doing that. So make sure y'all check this out. I have a video ready for you on Wednesday, though. I always got something. It's on demand. I got a video popping out on Wednesday, so you can check that out as well, right here on the UCSS network. Let's get to this. Jameis Winston. I love the pick of Jameis Winston, but I'm not going to lie. I grew very fond of Joe Flacco. My claim to fame is when people was talking about DTR, PJ Walker, they needed to go out and find another quarterback. I was the one guy who said Joe Flacco's the guy. When people said, nah, you let DTR play, no disrespect to DTR. He's a young guy. I think he's going to continue to develop. But I said, I need a veteran. I need Joe Flacco. People push back against that. I said Joe Flacco was going to throw for 300 yards. Multiple games. 3 in a row. I picked those. Go back and check. And Joe Flacco just, he had a magical season. He gave me some of the best times I've ever watched with the Cleveland Browns since 1999 in that backstretch that he had leading us to the playoffs. So shout out to Joe Flacco. But I also interviewed Joe Flacco, and Joe Flacco talked about how he felt like he was one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the universe. And, of course, coming off that type of season, and you get that taste of being the guy, you get that taste, that thrill of playing. It is nothing like it. I'm telling you, it is nothing like playing football in that stadium. Practice may suck, lifting weight sucks. I don't like meetings, but when you in front of them people and you winning and the team is performing well and you're a big part of that, those are days that you dream of. Like, you don't never get them days back, man. And so Joe Flacco, understandably so, felt like he wanted to get another taste of that as potentially a starter. Didn't happen. End up signing with Indianapolis as Richardson is coming off surgery, and Richardson is a guy who has not healed as quickly as some himself would like. Yes, I had a setback. So Joe Flacco might be a guy that you may see in Indianapolis. I thought bringing back Flacco would have been a great idea, but the Cleveland Browns went a different way with Jameis Winston. Let's take a look and see what Jameis Winston has meant to Deshaun Watson and what he's done so far, and then I'll come back and let you know why I believe that they chose Winston over Flacco.
I love your quarterback room. I love seeing the faces in there. I love hearing Jameis talk. Jameis had an interview. It's so cool to hear how supportive he is of you. I'm going to read you his quote, and you kind of tell me what you think about it. Jameis, I've seen intentional leadership. I've seen consistent growth in him, focusing on shoulder routine, focusing on building the strength back, and when he throws it, he spins it. I haven't seen anything of lack. I've just seen him continue to grow, continue to lead these guys. What is it like to be in a quarterback room with Jameis? Because I know before Jameis on the team, we always said, like, whenever Jameis had an interview, I DM you like, man, look at Jameis. Look at Jameis. Now he in the room. Yeah, like, is this the energy you got every day?
Bro, like, come on, man. Every day he come in, very respectful. And he comes in, he wants to lead, he wants to learn from everybody. You know what I'm saying? And he just want to be able to serve. And I think that's the key word for Jameis, is being able to serve others before himself. And I think that, you know, we've had talks, we have personal talks, and not getting too deep. It's just kind of like he's very secure with himself. And of course, everyone has insecurities, everyone has flaws, But I'm just saying, like, he know who he is. And for him, he told us one day, it was just like, now you got to know who you are before you can help anybody else. Because how can you help somebody else when you don't even know who you are as a person, as a player, as an individual? You know what I'm saying? And I think, like, there's always little nuggets like that, not just about football, but just about life in general. And they keep the room compact. You know what I'm saying? We all come from different phases. Jameis come from Alabama. I come from Georgia. Snoop come from Florida. DTR come from Vegas. You know what I'm saying? And for all of us to come in one and, like, have the type of relationship and that brotherhood we got, like, there's no type of egos in there. We all want to see each other eat and go to the top. You feel me? So that's the key.
Once again, that killer is courtesy of the QB Unplugged with Deshaun Watson and Quincy Avery. Make sure you guys subscribe to that channel. Check that out, man. You know, those guys do a great job over there. I like the insight from the players. I want to hear straight from the the horse's mouth, so to speak. And just a little aside, though, I see you with the Audemars, Deshaun. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the drip is crazy. You had the chain with the double cross, like, you know what I'm saying? You put that thing together, you know what I'm saying? I was like, ooh, that's a soft flex too. That's like a sneaky flex. Like a lot of cats, see, he had the plain Jane on. He ain't had no ice on, none of that. Like with that Audemars, boy, that watch is crazy. I just wanted to throw that out there as a fashion guy. I appreciate that. But yeah, with Jameis Winston, you gotta think about it like this, man. I think one of the reasons you look at the situation with Jameis Winston and why he's a person that was in that position is because the backup quarterback position is something that is a specialized role, right? What do you mean by that? The third quarterback to me is a development role. Your job is to develop and see what you got and continue to get better as you continue to grow, right? DTR, ideally should be a third quarterback, right? But I think because of the Browns and the way that the Browns are aggressive, they wouldn't got Huntley, which is like him as your third quarterback. They putting the pedal to the metal, because if Deshaun go down, they got two quarterbacks that can win them football games. Big time. They can win games. Like they can do some stuff. But the reason they got Jameis Winston in there as the backup quarterback, because your goal as a backup quarterback is not only physical, but it's spiritual and emotional. You are a support character. You are a secondary coach. You are a guy that is designed to be a guy that you don't need the reps. You need to be able to come in, absorb a playbook, and at a drop of a hat, I could go in and win 2 to 3 games if the guy backup goes down. But at the same time, I don't need to have the level of ambition to overshadow or to over eclipse the starter. My job is not to eclipse the starter and drown out his star and drown out his energy. My job is to shade. My job is to reinforce. My job is to pour into. It's a guy to encourage somebody if the interception goes down. He's the guy to come off the first due to congratulate when you make a throw. When you guys have when the offense is stalling, you're sitting there and you're going over what's not been working in the week, right? All of the stuff you put in the week ain't working against this defense. Now we got to figure out on the run how we make a play to win a game. That's what the backup quarterback is there to do. Not saying that Joe Flacco can't do that. Not saying that Joe Flacco does not have that in him. But sometimes it's about being comfortable and understanding where your career is and understanding that you have a greater purpose at this point in time now. Your greatest contribution to the team may not be throwing a touchdown pass. Your greatest contribution to a team could be, I'm making sure that Deshaun Watson is ready to go and he in a good mental space to get us to where we need to be at, right? Maybe my job is a mentor. See, sometimes you do never know in life when your time is done and when you're over. You don't know when and why you're around people or why you're in that person's life. Everything ain't forever. And one day, the good Lord gonna call you back home and he gonna say, your job is done, right? And so you don't, when you're on earth and wherever you're here, your job is to do and leave a place better than when you came. And when you look at Deshaun Watson, you look at Jameis Winston, just the rhetoric. Jameis Winston is a first of all overall pick in this league. He understands the pressure that comes along with it. Jameis Winston has had the ups and downs. Jameis Winston has had the situation in college where everybody was, on him for the crab legs and different things like that. He's been a part of some controversies. And he's also been a guy who has had redemption in this league. So that is the reason why Jameis Winston is a backup quarterback, because it's more about the room rather than the individual. And there's a lot that goes into the room, and I love the way Andrew Berry did it. He not only got a guy that can throw 40 touchdowns and throw, he throws some picks too, but he's not afraid to make those throws. He's not afraid of the moment. And at the same time, he's also isn't afraid to take a back seat to a guy for the greater vision of the team. And the great part about it is, I'd rather talk to Jameis Winston than Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson can give me the coach speak. I just had to look at the film. I want to talk to Jameis. Jameis can deflect a lot of that. He could deflect a lot of the stuff that happens on a day-to-day when, can you imagine Joe Flacco? Joe Flacco is a straight shooter. He's like, I've been in this league forever. Like you ask him a question, he might give you a real answer. Shout out to Joe. Sometimes you don't need that real answer, right? So I think the mix is brilliant. I thought the mix, I love Huntley, I love DTR, I love the mix in general. All of them bring something different to the table. I love the fact that Deshaun said they're from different places, different personalities. But at the end of the day, all four of them see eye to eye and they all understand what it is. We want the best for each other. And I think that's why this quarterback room has a potential to be special and is part of Project Stockpile. Speaking of stockpiling, I done stockpiled a lot of minutes on this video, man. I got to get up out of here. They ain't going to pay me for these extra minutes, but I had to do it for y'all, man. Juneteenth, Father's Day, you're welcome. I had to give you that extra over here on the Ultimate Browns. With that being said, have a great, happy Father's Day once again to all those fathers out there. Juneteenth on Wednesday. Make sure you celebrate that. Shout out to all the companies celebrating that. And as always, you guys, it's the biggest part of it. Love talking to you guys. Make sure you stay safe out there. And you know what it is. G. Bush, I keep the Clippers with me. I don't know where I'm going to be, radio, television, or internet. But if you need that cut, all you got to do is listen for the Clippers. Have a great week and go Browns.